Hey, this is John Bollinger with Premier Guitar. Today we're taking a test drive of the new Eric Johnson signature Thinline Stratocaster by Fender. Before I tell you all about this guitar, I'll tell you about how I'm recording it. About as simple as it gets. Klotz cables going from the guitar into a Fender Supersonic stock amp. We're going to jump between the clean and dirty, as you can see from the little play-in. Both EQs are basically flat. We're micing it with a Royer R121. It's about a foot off the cabinet. That's running into an Apogee Quartet and into Pro Tools. So Strat, amp, microphone, Pro Tools, the universe. Let's start with the ingredients. They have an alder body that is semi-hollow with this great F-hole right there, much like a Thinline Telecaster. And the great thing about this is that they've designed it in such a way that retains these Strat-y characteristics, but it does have a kind of semi-hollow vibe to it, particularly when you're playing a little bit louder. And although most of us know Eric Johnson as a Strat guy, he's a big 335 guy. In fact, Cliffs of Dover was recorded on a 335, and this kind of splits the difference, you know? There's just that sort of resonance, which I love. Nitro finish, of course, which, you know, as a vintage lover, Eric Johnson wanted that. And I think Nitro looks better, love the way it wears, and it sounds better. Nitro finish on the neck as well, and that's one thing I wish they would have. It's easy to fix, but Nitro necks always feel a little sticky to me. I kind of wish they would have sanded it, but of course if you buy the guitar, can sand it. That's what I would do if I'd owned this thing. Or if I was Fender, I just would have left that thing dry. Maybe put some oil on it. But nonetheless, I digress. Let's get back to it. The neck is a soft V kind of 57 feel quarter sawn maple, 12-inch radius with this maple fingerboard, and it's really comfortable, like the 12-inch radius. Frets are medium jumbo, which is, you know, just a more pragmatic way of doing it. Of course, those vintage frets are cool, but as far as bends and things like that, you're just better off with this. So it's an improvement on the vintage approach. Then with a normal 5-way switch and volume, tone, the nice thing about this, unlike a vintage guitar, there is tone on the bridge, which is where you need it the most. So that's a great appointment. The bridge is the old school vintage synchronized, and I've been wanging on it, you know, pretty hard, and yet it's well, let's see. You know, still in, so good for them. They're going with the 5 spring, and I like the fact they didn't even put a guard on the back. There's no screw holes for that, because honestly, I'm the kind of person, there's not a back on any of my Strats because I'd like to tweak on them all the time. Every time I change strings, I'm like back there anyway. So that's great. Let's see, the finish, they went with this kind of, it's kind of an off, well, it's yellow obviously, but to me it's like a nicotine yellow, like something you'd see in an old Strat that's been in a bar for 20 years, and back when people used to smoke in bars. So I love that finish, kind of that nicotine yellow. One piece pick guard, much like you'd find on the 50s Strat. And let's see, that's, and the specially voiced Eric Johnson designed pickups, which we'll kind of demonstrate those later on. Also, the tuners, you can see how they have that old school look to them. I love that. And they have that old school thing where you drop the center of the string down that hole. It's like 65-year-old technology, but it's kind of like a primitive locking system. It works really well. And you might notice there's no string trees on this because they've staggered these tuners, so you've got a straight shot. Puts the pressure on them without the string trees, which makes me wonder, why doesn't Fender do that on every guitar? It's just a better design, and they know how. So you might want to think about that. This should be like standard industry. And you'd think it would be more efficient and actually cheaper to produce. So maybe something for the future. Maybe that's 2019. Everything's like this. So let's just flip through some of the tones. The neck pickup has got all that quintessential stratiness we love. Tell you, man, you can get lost in that thing. Put a little dirt on it. Love that tone, just warm and throaty. And when you bring back that volume a little bit, it cleans back. Middle pickup sounds equally great, just that classic Stratty single coil bit. Staggered, which I love. So it's kind of like, to me, I always think of the middle pickup as like the Bonnie Raitt tone. Come on, man. Clean, equally enchanting. Love it. Bridge has got all that bite and snarl. Love that, man. Put some dirt on it. Snarly, right? Again, you know, Eric Johnson is just such a master of tone that it's not surprising that he just worked with Fender to really find those classic Stratty tones, but with a cool twist. And of course, the quintessential Strat tone. Just love that in-between thing, man. All that quack. You know, that tone you can plug into any amp and it's gonna, I mean, there is no way to make that sound bad. It's just such a thing. Then the other quintessential Strat tone, these two together, equally great. Just such a, I don't know, such a great quintessential Strat tone. So those are the basic details on the Eric Johnson signature Thinline Stratocaster by Fender. To read the full written review, go to premierguitar.com. While you're online, make sure you like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz. We have endless hours of guitar geekery waiting for you.
Don't forget to sign up for PG Perks, your all-access pass to exclusive gear giveaways and discounts on premierguitar.com.